My worst drug experience was with mushrooms. I don't think I'll ever do them again. I did like 4.5 grams, and I kept.
That's what I did.
Yeah, that's too many. I feel like it's bad.
It was
Didn't you,
wild.
Like, vomit milk.
Oh yeah, I thought because someone told me milk was like an eject button.
Really?
And so there's a picture. I have a photo. I'll show it to you. It's a photo of me just sitting. I'm in Yosemite.
Oh, no.
I'm in Yosemite, in like the most beautiful place ever, and you can see it all around me. And I'm just like in the middle of the photo, next to a puddle of milk vomit, and I look so fucked up.
We'll post that picture on the
we'll post
for the
it.
episode.
In the middle of the trip. Me and my cousin were just so fucked up from these mushrooms, and this woman could see that we were having a horrible time. We were at this campsite in Yosemite, and this woman like walked up to us, and she was like, "Hey, are you guys okay?" And I'm like sitting next to a puddle of my vomit, and I'm like, "Yeah, man, we're fine." We're just like, and I'm like trying so hard to keep it together, and my cousin, he didn't have the resolve to keep it together, so I'm like talking to her and just like making small talk, trying to get her to leave, and he just keeps going like, "You look exactly like my mom." he just kept saying, "You look, I'm sorry, you just look so much like my mom." And then she was like telling us how she was a nurse, and he was like, "My mom used to be a nurse. My mom used to be a nurse. This is really," and then he just left.
Damn.
Yeah.
So you had a bad trip.
It was a really bad trip. I kept looking in the trees, and I kept like the three pieces of imagery that I kept seeing over and over again. I was seeing penises and like humongous boobs, and I was seeing and then Jack Nicholson in The Shining. And I was just everywhere I looked, I was just seeing dick, boob, Jack Nicholson's face.
That's awful. That was the universe for you, right?
It was the worst experience of my life, easily. And
did it shake you?
Did it shape me?
Shake you?
It definitely shook me. I will say, coming down was like the greatest drug experience ever.
Oh yeah.
I saw there was like Yosemite, beautiful place when you're sober, but when you're like kind of on mushrooms, it's unbelievable. Like there was like
I can imagine.
There was this like eagle. I just remember seeing the eagle and just like freaking out and being like, I thought that I was like imagining it, but it was really there. And I had my cousin Jake was there, and he was sober. He was like trip sitting us, and he's like the most like he's nonplussed by everything. Like he just doesn't give a fuck. So he didn't really notice that we were freaking out. So he's like sitting there sleeping on a chair while like with his hat over his eyes. And I just kept telling my other cousin like, dude, he's our fucking enemy, dude. He did this on purpose. Like I was telling him, I thought that he was like trying to take us down.
That's awful.
And I was like, he poisoned us, and then he fucking
I get so much just in my normal every day. At least I have at least one thought that my friends are trying to kill me.
It was bad. It was I would say that was the worst my mental health ever was. Right after that, one other thing I remember, it also ruined a couple of songs for me because I made this playlist and I was like, this is all stuff it'll like put me in the right headspace and be great. And the song that ruined, like I can't listen to this one song anymore. It's a Japandroid song called Continuous Thunder.
Let's play it.
And the last, I mean, you should play it because the last there's like a 2-minute part where it just plays the same riff over and over again and says like Continuous Thunder. And I thought that we listened to that song for 3 hours. Damn. And I like screamed at my cousin. I was like, turn this song off.
That sounds like a horrible experience.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I will listen to Swans and Pig Destroyer on acid.
I really like Swans.
Dude, that would scare me, man.
I
can't listen to anything scary.
Oxygen, The Seer Returns, Little God in My Hands, those 3 songs.
When we were on acid, we watched Austin Powers, and that almost put me in the wrong. I'm listening to Swans.
That was so much fun.
Yeah, it was great.
Austin Powers, the greatest movie. Goldmember was the greatest movie of all time.
It was this close to just like ruining my life.
I don't understand watching something.
I watched Halloween twice.
I feel like you got to get outside.
We went outside immediately after watching Goldmember.
That was an amazing.
I remember
experience.
I hallucinated a ceiling fan in the living room. I remember I was laying back in a chair.
So mundane.
Yeah, it was. I was sitting there and I was like, "Why is the fan on? It's the middle of winter." And then I looked up and there was no fan, and I was like, "Wow, that's fucked."
Holy cow.
My brother said that he took 2 tabs of acid. This is why, like I've only ever taken a half tab of acid.
Oh, really?
I don't. I'm that mushrooms thing really fucked up hallucinogens for me.
The bad hallucinogenic trips can really make you feel like you ruined your life.
I don't. But I think next time I do acid, I want to do at least one tab because
at least 100.
At least 100 tabs. My brother took like 2 or 3 tabs at a music festival once and said that he was like, "Oh man, I'm not high at all," and he was like looking at his friend, and then his friend's head turned into a cube and like a Rubik's cube and rearranged itself, and then he was like, "Hey man, are you okay?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'm okay."
My sister's fiance, he and his friend had like liquid acid. And
that's
it,
so
like
scary.
in like a dropper.
Just like
something
acid,
about
like
that
it
is
just,
so,
like melts you.
the idea like accidentally
He had-
squirting like the entire like dropper.
That's what he did.
That's horrible.
That's what he did. He didn't know that you were only supposed to do like one drop. He did like the whole thing, and then like the dude he was doing it with looked at him and was like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
That's $100.
Yeah, he's like, "You just took like 14 fucking tabs worth."
Oh my
and then the guy
God.
just looked at him and then just grabbed the dropper from him and then took the entire like another thing. He matched him, and then they like got fucked up for 3 days.
Yeah, that's like a I think what's the scariest to me about psychoactive drugs is the way that they warp time.
Yeah.
like that's
Yeah,
the only.
for
If
sure.
I don't think about time, I'm fine.
Yeah.
But if I do, it immediately. I just I
I
get
feel like we
fucked
were
up.
at his lake house for like a fucking week.
It was so long.
Yeah.
But I really tried not to think about that.
On the mushrooms, it felt like time was looping itself, repeating itself.
That was what. That's
Like I
like what
said,
I
it's the
said.
time
That
travel
song that just
episode.
repeats the
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah.
That's what was so scary
Yeah.
about that
I
song.
felt I was trapped in the kitchen. I felt like time and place were inventions in my mind, and it was all some kind of cruel joke. Like
I was just seeing wieners and boobs all the entire time. Mine, honestly, like just a bad
we're at hour
review.
10.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, let's keep going. I like talking about horrible drug experience.
Yeah.
Have you ever had like a bad experience on drugs?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I mean,
every
on
time I
acid?
smoke weed.
Oh, on acid. I've done acid twice. Neither time was bad.
Yeah,
Really?
both
Like,
times
yeah.
were great, and I did them.
they were both bad.
Yours were both bad.
Well, they had good and bad.
Oh,
they had
I
the
think that's
extreme
pretty-
peak and the extreme low. And I
Yeah.
think if it was either of just the extreme peak or just the extreme low, it wouldn't have been a nice experience.
What was the extreme low for you?
Just feeling like my soul was being destroyed, things like
I
that.
think
you
that
know?
it's the
Yeah.
ego death thing,
Yeah. That's
or at
probably
least
the
that's what
thing
like
that does
that's
it.
what like
Yeah.
people who are into like hallucinogens say is an ego death. I don't really know what that means.
When I took 2 tabs of acid, I had my sketchbook, and I was like, I'm gonna draw, I'm gonna take acid and then draw, and it's gonna be like crazy, you know, like you see
Yeah.
the thing, like this person on acid drew like.
I
and
did
it's
the
like,
same
and
thing
I
Drawing
literally-
XKCD
no,
comics.
I literally looked at it the next day. It's literally just like
Whoa.
just like 2 spirals and like a squiggly line and like a smiley face.
I drew
have to
like a
be-
weird skeleton my first time on a piece of like a
I'll
plate.
show you the drawings. They're
It's
drew a
funny that
skeleton
like
on a plate that I was
specifically with
eating off of.
mushrooms, you're just like poisoning yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what all drugs are. Really.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
alcohol
just
is poison.
Yeah,
too,
I guess
you know?
that's true. But to a much great like I remember the worst feeling was like coming up on the mushrooms and like peaking and just being like, oh, I just like poisoned myself on purpose in a place where I don't have any cell service. And like that's I just paid $40.
You stay that lucid on it? Like you
No, I didn't. That was like probably my last thought. And
Yeah.
then I was every time I closed my eyes, I was seeing snakes.
Yeah.
It was bad, dude.
What is it with the snakes? Very strange.
Yeah.
Do you see
imagery-
snakes?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I feel it's.
Well, there is. I would say across. I mean,
Let's talk about machine elves.
Okay.
I don't know.
What about
just
the
remember
what about
that.
the
That's
3
what people
aliens?
see
No,
on TV.
I was
it's
just thinking
3
about the-
aliens that you see. They're like
I thought it was machine
They're a
elves.
council. Listen, buddy, I've watched a lot of Joe Rogan.
Okay,
There's
go
3
ahead.
aliens.
Take
They're
it
a
away.
council. When you break through with DMT, you see the aliens and they say like you're not ready, and then they send you back to your shit body.
The machine elves, also known as fractal elves, is what you see.
I just remembered that
Perhaps they are the programmers, and some say they might even be us in another dimension. Machine elves may be sort of like guardian angels or spirit guides, just with a different purpose. When I met the machine elves, they were working very hard to hold every piece of matter together. The more my vision zoomed in on objects and people around the room, the more I saw of them. Basically, they're like when people do DMT, you look around and you see that there are these machine elves that are running the world and like constructing everything and holding it together.
I feel like if
That's
I
a
did
common
DMT, I'd
experience
just
of-
see the Avengers.
I feel like if I didn't know,
I just
Sounds
be
awful.
like, "Oh, what's up,
Know that.
man?"
right.
I never
remember-
get any of the pop culture stuff. A lot of people talk about they see pop culture
Yeah.
Really?
things. I've
I said,
never-
Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
right. It's for me. It's only been these extremely not human things. You know.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it's anything that I've seen in my life before.
I think the scary part to me is always like just the fact that if you close your eyes, you're like still seeing shit.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that happens
Yeah.
in daily life.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
that's
that
true. I
happens
guess
to
that's
me
true.
a lot.
Yeah. What do you guys see?
I get, but if I've like been watching a movie,
Mm-hmm.
like I only watch horror movies, pretty much, and so most of the time, if I'm trying to fall asleep, just like scenes from horror movies just play in my mind over and over, which is fine. It does like because I like
You're
the movies.
twisted.
It's not like it's not like it's not like I'm scared, you know. It's just like it's just that I'll see like stuff that I've seen from the day, and I can't stop seeing it, and I'm trying to go to sleep, and it's just like playing in my head. But it's usually like horror movies.
I feel like Patrick's gonna Photoshop like a tree that has a penis, a boob, and Jack Nicholson's face in it, and then send it to me, and I'm gonna kill myself immediately.